Let me just change the color real quick. Okay. Are you looking into updating your fragrance wardrobe to work? If you are new here, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. And if you are returning, you are truly appreciated for tuning back in. Now for today's video is going to be all about work appropriate fragrances for both men and women. Now how I came up with this list is based on how easily approachable they are, or how easily likable they are, or how easily wearable they are. These are fragrances that are not necessarily going to be stuffy or going to be obnoxious to the next person to you at the table. These fragrances are going to be suitable for those close environment, for close encounters. Now this is going to be a two-part series, and in both videos there will be fragrances that are marketed towards men, marketed towards women, or unisex. But if you know me and if you have been watching my videos, you would know that I have no problem with wearing women's fragrances, because in this channel we say that fragrances at the end of the day are just liquid in a bottle. So wear whatever you feel like wearing, go for it. So let's get on to the video. For the first perfume, we are going to the house of Penhaligon, and this is Endymion Cologne. It has prominent notes of lavender, coffee, bergamot, nutmeg, and cardamom. Now this, I think, is such an underrated men's cologne. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this perfume, or even the concentrate version of this one, which is, I think, the EDP version that comes in a darker bottle. There aren't a lot of people hyping or talk about this here in YouTube, but I think this perfume really deserves the hype. It's got the prominent lavender in there that keeps this perfume in the vein of a typical or a classic men's cologne. But the magic for me in here is the addition of the coffee note and the spices in here, especially from the nutmeg and cardamom. That makes this perfume unique and makes this perfume really modern and very much present. The coffee note in here, I have to say, doesn't smell like roasted beans. It smells more like how an iced Americano feels. It smells watery, it smells light, and you have that nutmeg and the cardamom in the background that really spice things up and gives this perfume character. It doesn't have a massive projection, which is good for an office perfume. You will have a probably softer scent bubble of about arm's length, which is good because you don't want your perfume to be on everybody's faces while they are working on their desk. But this as a perfume is really sparkly, really an underrated compliment getter, a very modern, fresh, spicy perfume with a touch of class. For the next one, we have a perfume from the house of Loewe, and this is Nomad Eau de Parfum. This one has prominent notes of mirabelle, peach, oak moss, sandalwood, and musk. Now, I have to admit this was a blind buy, because after having enjoyed Loewe Eau de Parfum and its flankers, I realized that there aren't a lot of people talking about these houses, and I stumbled on this perfume and I blind bought this based on the positive reviews about this perfume and how this smells like. You will have the very beautiful, almost suede leathery concoction of notes in the background. The combination of the oak moss and the sandalwood and the musk creates that very tart, sort of leathery nuance in the background that really reminds me of White Suede by Tom Ford, but with a fresh fruity touch at the top. Now, I have not smelled the mirabelle fruit in person, but there is that obvious fruitiness in the background that's very different than your typical fruity perfumes in the market right now. It does have peach in here, which very much plays a supporting role in this perfume. This is all about the mirabelle fruit. And if you are familiar with women's perfume, a lot of them most of the time use strawberry note, peach note, or raspberry note. The smell of the mirabelle fruit in here is very distinct, that really stands out and really creates this wonderful blend with all the other notes in the background, contrasting this sort of woody, dusty, sort of darker element in the background with all that combination that creates this suede accord. Now, when I first tried this perfume, a little story, I tried it during nighttime because that's mostly the only time that I am at home and get to try all my new perfumes on clean skin. Now, I was testing this one out in my pajamas because I was also just trying to wear it until I go to bed and wake up in the morning and see how it performs. And with that, I really felt very underdressed with this perfume. That combination of the oak moss and the sandalwood and the musk, like I said, that sort of creates this suede accord, really creates this sense of formality in this perfume that it really made me feel like I was so underdressed, that when I was wearing this, it felt like I was so out of place, that I needed to go to work, that I needed to wear this with a button-down shirt, with a necktie and a crisp white coat and go to the clinic. That's what this one was giving me. Now, by the way, this is marketed towards women, but I think in all of my collection of women's perfume, this is one of the very few really sits in the line of being a perfectly unisex perfume. This, I think, is a perfectly unisex perfume. Now, if you are a woman, this smells like a boss perfume. This smells like a CEO. This, to me, smells like a woman who wears a suit to work, a woman who is not just the top performing employee of the month, of the week, but she is the CEO. She is on the top of her game. And that commentary sort of reminds me of what I said about Coco Noir. This, I think, is what that woman smells like. This is what she wears to the office. Then when she goes out at night to a date, to meet with her friends, have dinner with her family, she wears Coco Noir. This is her day perfume. This is a boss perfume. And with that said, this is a perfect office perfume. For the next one, we are going to the house of Tom Ford, and this is Oud Wood. This has prominent notes of oud, cardamom, vetiver, tonka bean, and amber. Of course, the trusty Oud Wood. This is a 100% 10 out of 10 a gentleman's perfume. This has oud in it, but this has the cleanest oud that you could ever smell in the market right now. And to my nose, how I describe this perfume, this to me smells like a sparkling wood perfume. This has oud, but this smells very, very bright and has that invigorating quality. Men love this, women love this. This is a perfect year-round perfume. You could wear this in any weather, any season, any occasion. Honestly, based on experience, I have not had any problems with the longevity of this perfume. I could still get whiffs of it throughout the day, throughout the entire 8 hours while I am at work. And honestly, I just can't complain so much about this perfume because this just smells so good. And like I have said in the past, this, I think, is just one of the best perfumes ever created in history. A good everyday signature perfume, but most importantly, a very good compliment getter perfume that you could wear to the office. For the next perfume, we are going to the house of Loewe, and this is Loewe 001 Woman. This has prominent notes of sandalwood, tangerine, jasmine, vanilla, and amber. Boy, oh boy, what can I say about this perfume? This is my most favorite sandalwood perfume so far. It is very creamy. This one carries a prominent creamy sandalwood note in the body. And this is contrasted by the brighter facet, contributed by the tangerine and jasmine at the top. And that beautiful amber in the background just gives this perfume that beautiful, warm, cocooning effect that really makes this perfume smell very comforting, very uplifting, and really makes this perfume very attractive. The creaminess of the sandalwood just really gives a perfume that comforting, creamy, sort of powdery hug to the perfume that sometimes gives a perfume that sensuality, but sometimes, just like this perfume, really makes a perfume smell clean, very professional, very well put together, and makes this perfume really just hard to not love. So if you have not tried this yet, and especially if you're a fan of sandalwood note, even if you are a man, you should really try this perfume. This is just really beautiful and addictive, and it's just really so hard not to love this perfume. For the next perfume is a women marketed perfume that I really love to wear, and this is from the house of Chanel, and this is number 5 Low. This perfume has prominent notes of citruses, neroli, jasmine, and aldehydes. Now, just as the name would suggest, this carries that soapy, clean, aldehyde quality of the original Chanel number 5, but it's very much in the background, and that DNA is encapsulated by all the other notes in this perfume, particularly the citruses that are very much prominent at the top. Now, this perfume has every citrus note that you could ever think of that are being used in the market right now. It has lime, it has lemon, it has bergamot, everything, it's in here. But despite all that citruses at the top of this perfume, this doesn't have the massive projection that the original number 5 has. The original number 5, in my experience, really fills the room. It's powerful, It's powdery. This one gives you a softer scent bubble. Now, this was supposed to be Chanel's way of trying to reinvigorate the No. 5 brand, or try to bring the Chanel No. 5 brand into the modern times by modernizing it using a lot of citruses and a lot of white florals, which I think they have done successfully, although just not much in the sales perspective, because in all of the perfumes in the designer line of Chanel, this is not the best selling, but a lot of people love this perfume and I am one of them. Now, going back to how this smells, I love the original Chanel No. 5. I love how it's classy and I love how it is classic, but just like everybody else, I just think that it kind of smells dated and can be a little bit out of place during these modern times. But this one really gives you that modern Chanel No. 5. It may not be as powerful, it may not be as loud as the original Chanel No. 5. It may not necessarily smell 100% the same, as it should, because this is a modern Chanel No. 5. And although this has jasmine in it, it's not very prominent. It just gives this perfume the tart solarity. This doesn't smell very floral. So that is why that I think that if you are a guy, if you're looking for a perfect, unique perfume to revamp your perfume collection, this would be the perfect perfume to go to, because this just smells like aldehydes and citruses. And at the end of the day, what you would be getting is this very fresh, soapy, clean, and bright, very professional smelling perfume with a touch of the classy Chanel No. 5 DNA. And lastly, we have a perfume from the house of Diptyque, and this is Trente-Quatre Saint Germain. And this has prominent notes of fig leaf, tuberose, rose, sandalwood, and spices. The name of this perfume literally translates in English to 34 Saint Germain, which is basically the address of the original Diptyque store in Paris. This was released in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. This was to celebrate the anniversary of Diptyque. This carries all of the notes that are prominent in a lot of their best-selling perfumes. It has fig leaf from Philosicus, it has tuberose from Doucin, it has rose from L'Homme d'Ancelot, it has wood notes, especially sandalwood from Tamdao. This perfume really is everything. This is a masterpiece. If you love Diptyque and if you love a spicy, woody, comforting perfume, this is a perfume that you should have. This, by the way, is marketed as unisex, and it really smells like that. It has that slightly creamy, powdery, woody notes in the background and a slight medicinal touch at the top, which honestly just fades within a second to reveal this very light, creamy, bright, sort of floral notes at the top, coming more from tuberose but less of the rose. The way that this perfume is composed, it has that darker sensuality to it rather than your typical bright Diptyque perfume. That's why I think this is something that you should dress up a little bit, which makes this perfume a really good perfume to wear at the office. Now, the darker elements in this perfume, especially with the added touches of spices in the background, I think really makes this perfume a sexy perfume to wear at the office for both men and women. So that completes today's list. I hope you loved this video. Please do leave a thumbs up, because that would definitely go a long way. It will help me with YouTube's algorithm. Now, please do consider subscribing to this channel and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified in the future if I upload a new video. Now, as always, I do hope that everybody are staying safe wherever you are in the planet. Stay curious, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!